for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have posted for the Headley Amendment for 7:05, so I got some things I wanted to say before public comment anyway. We sent a letter to Don on West Main Street, mow his grass. He never does. We did send a letter to Harder. The building inspector has not called me back for Wilbur Street. I'll call him again tomorrow. I finally found the right person to talk to about brownfield situations. And this guy gave me a lot of information. I was sitting at home, so I didn't get it all wrote down. I asked him if we could call him, and he suggested a Zoom call, and now he can set it up. I'd like to know if there's any board members who'd like to sit in on that with us. Because if we, at one time, we had the opportunity to buy the Gamco property, and we couldn't find any help with how to get around it without putting the village in debt if there's contamination there, because they would do phase one assessment. This guy is in an organization that under a fish beck, and they work under a contract site that the state operates. So I would like to have more than just Ellie and I involved in this, and then we'll have to see if the Gamco property is possible still for sale to us. But I found this number and I called it, and the guy, he's really willing to help us on this. And if he does it, we don't have to pay for the phase one assessment, which costs $2,500. And then if we had to go to the phase two, that's $8 to $10 grand. So he says, because they work under through the state, it's not gonna cost a village nothing.
I set in, just depending on when that's set up. I could be there depending on when.
Okay. I just would like other people involved besides myself, so I appreciate it. Okay, we're close enough, 5 minutes
Yes,
after.
we need a motion to close the regular meeting and go into the public hearing.
This is for the head.
Oh, for the Headley? Okay, I make that motion.
Second. Okay.
Okay, so we are having a public hearing for our tax millage for fiscal year 2025. This would be resolution 2025-2. So our millage increase is going from 9.4257 to 9.7143. And the 9.7143 is what it has been for the last at least 3 years, as long as I've been here. So are there any questions or public comment about the tax millage? Okay, and I need a motion to accept resolution 2025-2 to increase and establish the 2025 tax millage, please.
I'll do it.
I'll support it.
Okay, we need a roll call vote on this. Okay. Steve?
Yes.
Calvin?
Yes.
Wally?
Yes.
Moran?
Yes. And then we need a motion to close the public hearing and go back into our regular meeting.
I'll
property were you talking about buying?
Gamco.
They Oh.
They offered it to us when they first tore the building down. But we told them we needed phase one done on it. And they said it wasn't necessary because there was no contamination. We decided we had to drag our feet on it because we needed some protection for 20 years down the road. If we had to clean that up ourselves, it would bankrupt the village. Al?
Back when that all happened, we talked to a engineer up in Lansing regarding the test that they had run and everything. And told him we'd be interested in buying it and possibly making it into a park, do something with it. He said, "You gonna put any holes in the ground?" And we said, "Yeah, potentially you would." I wouldn't do that. So that right there tells me there's some kind of contamination, there was anyway. And the cheapest way they solved it was to put a bank around there so the water couldn't run off the property.
Yep. And that's basically what they did, and then Grubbs just started mowing the weeds down until it looks like what it does now. These guys seem helpful if they're willing to sell it, but it'd be worth listening to what he has to say. So. Public comments, Randy?
I see, you did some patching on the tennis courts. You went, did that,
Yep.
when did you do that?
The last couple of days. We just tried to fix it so you couldn't step into it and break an ankle.
Do you think that, you did a good job, I went down and looked at it. I did fill the cracks. You plan on doing the tennis part? Yes.
And
You're
I'm
not,
gonna spend less than $200 in the pack material
Cold
put in
patch.
there.
you're not looking at that as a permanent solution, all right? We're still gonna have to end up fixing that.
Right, but in the meantime, it might be fixed good enough, somebody might wanna use it.
Sure. I just thought then,
That way it gives everyone a chance to catch their breath and maybe find someone who can write us a grant to help us do it.
that, well, I just wanted to say thanks. You guys did a good job.
Well, we weren't gonna say nothing, even though it was probably wrong, we weren't gonna say nothing until we got it done, so that,
Well, I appreciate it for one.
it's better than, it might be usable now if you're not real fussy. And
Well, it won't hurt nobody.
There's been a lot of kids down there playing with the games and stuff going on, they're playing basketball and.
It's kind of what's true, that
Yeah, so,
baseball games, and lots of other kids that ain't playing baseball, go in there and play.
so it makes, it's a good decision just to get it, so we're not having a broke leg or something like that, so.
I'll wait.
Pardon me?
I'll wait.
Go wait.
Yeah, I wanna see what you're gonna talk about first.
Alright. Any other public comments?
I'll just say real quick, Mr. Mayor, I don't know if Mr. Benzine's gonna talk about, the Lifeways bond or not, but I do have petitions, one petition here and more in the car.
What is it?
It's the Lifeways bond that the commissioners have voted, present company accepted. They have voted to back the Lifeways, company, organization with $15.5 million bond. And if you haven't heard anything about that, there is things on the internet about it. And I do have petitions here to take that to a ballot. So we the people can vote for it or not.
Okay. Any other public comment?
site, Joanne?
Yes. I called the sheriff's department about the truck because the license plate is outdated. They told me as long as it's on private property, the property owner's gotta be the one that makes the call. Well, his mom owns the property, so there's nothing we can do about the truck because it's on the other side of the sidewalk. We did go down there and mow the grass. And I called the building inspector and he was gonna come out and look at it to see if it could be condemned. And he was gonna call me back and he hasn't, and I've been out of town.
What about the health department?
Well, there's nobody living there, so the building inspector was gonna look at it first. If he suggests the health department, then that's what we'll go. Al?
I checked into that while I was on council, and, problem is, yeah, the health department could condemn it, and then it'd be up to the owner to tear it down. If he doesn't wanna do either with it, then it falls back on the village,
Yeah, it sits there.
and then you wanna eat that cost. I don't think so.
Any other comments? Okay, moving on, we're gonna skip down to Green Park. So she can give a presentation, if she wants to leave, she can.
And then there's Lucy over here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for your time tonight. My name is Mandy Monroe. I'm the Executive Director at the Hillsdale County Senior Services Center, also known as Perennial Park. Wanted to take this opportunity to just share with you and refresh your memory on some of the services that we can offer the community. We have multiple lifelong learning and life enrichment events that are free to the community. Some of those include bereavement support group and education classes. Successful Aging Through Financial Exploitation is a program that we offer to assist older adults that have been the victim of or are suspicious that they have been the victim of abuse, neglect, or exploitation, including financial. Part of that program is developing socialization activities for older adults to participate in, because we know that a significant risk factor in becoming the victim of abuse is isolation. And so, as in your package, you'll see we have an activity calendar that has many safe socialization events such as diamond dot art classes, painting classes, and recently we added a memoir class. We also have low intensity cardio drumming, which was recently added. That's one of our most popular programs, but we had some that didn't feel that they were able to do the more aerobic course. So now we offer that once a week. We have different lunch and learns available throughout the year. Our next lunch and learn that is coming up is on tomorrow with Dan Beischer, and he's going to be talking about historic Hillsdale. We have our Father's Day lunch coming up next Friday on the 13th. And we continue with Connection Cafe is a collaboration that we do with Wellwise Area Agency on Aging. And again, it's socialization opportunities for people to come together, and there's a specific topic each week. Other support groups that we have include our Alzheimer's Association support group, Parkinson's disease support group, and kinship care support group, which is grandparents raising grandchildren. We of course have our Meals on Wheels program, which continues to be our largest service. So although the annual report is not included in your packet, all of this information that I'm going over is available on our website, including our annual report. So in fiscal year 24, we served 82,154 meals to Hillsdale County residents, and that's to 491 unduplicated clients. And I always just like to mention too that a benefit of our Meals on Wheels program is that if there's someone that you're concerned about, it's daily eyes on check. So if someone's having increase in falls, or you're just overall concerned, there's that reassurance there that at least once a day, someone is laying eyes on them. We have our volunteer transportation department, and we actually serve quite a few Litchfield residents with transportation, and that is available to anyone. So if that's a need, please call our volunteer transportation department. Elaine Hilliker is the coordinator for that. And we also have an AARP class coming up for Smart Driver Tech. Because of all of the advanced technologies and vehicles now, they're coming out with classes to help navigate that, and that's what I might sign up for myself. So, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Okay, thank you for your time.
Do you know if anybody in the village here takes advantage of the Meal on Wheels?
Yes, that report is missing from your packet, because I went to look that up before I came up, but I can get that information to you.
How, you got a ballpark figure or whatever, or how many meals?
Well, there's 50.
I don't mean to throw you under the bus, I just was curious.
Yeah, no, so the last fiscal year, we served around 75 clients in Litchfield. So, and we've seen those numbers increase every year in all different, areas of the county.
Okay.
Okay. You're welcome, thank you.
Okay, boss. Okay, we're going back up on the schedule here. Brad, we skipped over you in comments, sorry.
Whenever you'd like me.
Let's do the consent agenda and I'll give you the floor. I got it started, I better finish it so I don't forget. Consent agenda for the treasurer's report, approval of bills and last month's minutes. Need a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Got the floor, Brad. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to be back with you all. Sorry I missed the last few meetings. In April, I was at my annual steelhead fishing trip up north, and last month I was out of town at a conference. So nice to be back with you now that the weather is a little bit nicer. So you may have heard on the radio that our district court judge, in conjunction with our district court magistrate, is offering an amnesty program over the course of the summer for anyone who might owe fines or have bench warrants out for them for failure to appear other offenses. So I do want to share with you, and so if you do know of anyone who might be able to take advantage of this, what they're doing is they're holding an amnesty program for delinquent cases. The program will be in effect for June, July, and August of 2025 as a summer amnesty program. The purpose is to encourage individuals with outstanding balances owed to the court to resolve them without incurring additional penalties. The program includes waiver of late fees, bench warrant fees, and show cause fees for those who qualify. So eligible cases for amnesty will include all misdemeanors, traffic tickets, and civil infractions, including those that have warrants for failure to pay, in which late fees, show cause fees, and or bench warrant fees have been assessed. The $45 clearance fee assessed by the Michigan Department of State when a license is suspended cannot be waived. And I will not read the entire letter from the judge, but I will leave it with your clerk. And so if you do know of anyone who might take advantage of that program, please share that information with them. It is a good opportunity to simply pay back whatever were the fines or costs that were associated with the original offense and have those additional fees waived.
Brad, is that just for the county?
Just for Hillsdale County, yes. So it was our district court judge, Stiverson, and our, administrator magistrate, Rachel Dockstetter came up with this program. And, of course, those fines, they do go into the general fund for the county, so, we would much rather collect them than, have to process bench warrants for people who don't show up for them, so. All right, Mr. Nichols did allude, to the Lifeways bond issue, and so I did want to kind of give you a little briefing on that. On, May the 13th, at a regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners, the Board of Commissioners did vote 3-2 to begin the process to issue county-backed general obligation bonds in the amount of $15.5 million for the construction of Lifeway's new 21,000 square foot facility, which will be on Industrial Drive, or the corner of Beck Road and Industrial Drive. And the easiest landmark for me, for any of us that have been around the county for more than a minute, is where the stadium roller rink was, and now the Well Activity Center directly behind that. They have 8 acres that they purchased from the Center for Family Health on that property. So basically the idea is Lifeways approached the county that we would use our borrowing power to issue tax exempt bonds. They would enter into an agreement much like the senior center did many years ago, that the county would own that property and then lease it for the length of the bonds, which in this case is 20 years. To the operator of that facility. At the end of when those bonds are fully repaid, then that property would be transferred back to them. And the idea behind that is because we can issue tax exempt bonds, the borrowing rate is lower. So Lifeways has about a $120 million annual budget. The county has about a $14 million annual budget. The savings to Lifeways is about $100,000 a year. So they will go ahead and build that property, whether the county were to back those bonds or not. They still, as far as I'm aware, are looking at a commercial loan. So there is a citizens group, because as part of the bonding process, that citizens do have the right to petition to place that issue on the ballot. And so there is a group that is circulating petitions. They have until July the 7th. They have 45 days from date of publication to gather the signature of 10% of the registered voters of the county. So that number is about 3,500. I think they're looking to gather obviously more than that. So they're looking to gather more than 4,000 of those signatures. And if they do turn those in and they are validated, then that issue would go before the voters. According to Clerk Dane, we really aren't 100% sure when that would go before the voters. If it would be a special election in November of this year, or if we'd have to wait to the primary election in August of 2026. So if those are turned in, then we will get a firm date when that will be. So, but there are, as Mr. Nichols alluded, there are members of the committee that are out there gathering those signatures. The Board of Commissioners also authorized spending $115,000 of the proceeds that we received for the sale of our current location for our district court to hire an architectural firm to create construction drawings and engineering drawings for the renovation and conversion into a district court facility in the current Lifeways property, which is out on Care Drive directly by the Sheriff's Department. That's about a 10,000 square foot building. It's about equivalent in size what we currently have, but it's all on one floor rather than on 2 floors like our current district court. We did sell that about 2 years ago, so we have 3 additional years to vacate that property. And so we need to begin moving forward. We cannot get construction estimates without having architectural drawings. So once we have those in hand, then we will be able to start getting hard numbers and then figure out how we are going to pay for that. Based on numbers that we're hearing, about $300 a square foot, give or take a bit, to renovate that building. So it's a 10,000 square foot building, so it'll be about a $3 million project. And we do need to keep that going because we have to vacate the second floor of that building where our probation department is currently located by April of next year. So we have a little bit less than a year. And then we will have 2 years from next April to be completely out of that building. Lifeways is current lease on the building extends right now. They have a year, so it will be to the end of March of next year, and then they will go to a month by month of up to 6 additional months And, because it will probably take a year for us to get that building ready, from the time that they vacate it, we really do need to keep that moving along. We also did set the 2025 millage rates. One that's most important, of course, to everybody is the county operating, and that was set at 4.8074 mils. We have a number of other millages. We do have a special voting for the medical care facility. We also have our senior millage, one for ambulance services, one for community mental health. And we do have 2 bonded debts that will be on your tax bills. And the first one will be the 2006 medical care facility debt retirement. And also the new one, which is for our 800 megahertz radio system, and you will see that appear for the first time on your tax bill. I won't read all of those numbers to you, but I will leave a copy of that with the clerk. And that was our resolution that we did that on, and you will see those on your summer tax bills. We do continue to move forward with our new county materials management plan. Eagle has approved our first year proposal on that, and we do have all of our committee members set. They did allow us to reduce the number on that committee. We had to add an additional person from an environmental organization, but we were able to reduce the total numbers down on that committee. And they are meeting right now monthly, and we are continuing to move forward. One of the interesting things that they are talking about, because we are going to be required to have a countywide recycling guide published, is they are talking about possibly using some of the funding that Eagle is providing for this to purchase a recycling trailer, which then would be available to any of the municipalities within the county. And basically it's a dump trailer, and current methods in recycling, and I know that it always raises eyebrows when everything goes into one container. And the thought is probably that it's landfill. Actually, what the recycling folks do is they want to do the sorting on it, because they end up sorting the individual bins, because people evidently aren't able to be 100% accurate on what they put in. So with a dump trailer, you can just go into that, they bring it in, they put it on concrete, they lift the trailer up, put it on concrete, and then they manually sort those materials. So it would be interesting if they move that forward, but that evidently has been a fairly successful program in other communities. And the last item I have is just a current update on our 800 megahertz project. As you know, we will be building one of our towers pretty much adjacent, about a mile away from the village. And our intent at this point is to begin moving dirt in July of this year. So construction will begin on those, and we will probably be putting towers up in August of this year. We do continue to move forward with that. Probably will have the school radios ready to go for the start of the new school year, and that will not create an undue burden on the system. So we want to get those deployed out, and so we felt that over the summer that getting those purchased and moving forward with those. So look for those probably in August. They will be deployed to all of our public schools within the county, and we will later on, probably early 2026, be getting all the radios and pagers. We will need to, because we keep getting asked, when are we getting radios, right, Dallas? And when are we getting pagers, because the departments obviously, they know they're gonna be getting pagers, and they don't wanna expend dollars for those. They don't have to, but we will wanna train everybody on those before that. We do that much like we did with the new dispatch tablets. We will have a train-the-trainer event, or multiple of those train-the-trainer events on the radios, so they can take that information. But probably those radios will not go out until the radio system is pretty much ready to go up and be active. And we are still shooting for May of next year, May of 2026. So we're a little bit less than a year away for that project to be live. And that concludes my report, unless you have questions for me.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Brad. Okay. Old business. Bob, did we get sidewalk quote from,
I was gonna say, and then wait until tomorrow morning.
guess we'll put that on hold, huh? We did go down and look at Mrs. Daniels' sidewalk, and we're gonna try and do that. Okay, Miss Melissa, Monday night food truck.
So Melissa went ahead and put together a permit application that would be a $100 calendar year permit fee from the food trucks. So they pay $100 for the year. They can come as many Mondays as they like, as long as they get on the schedule. And they sign this application stating that they are responsible for their own electricity, water, waste. Obviously, we'll have proof of insurance. So I ran this by our insurance guy. He said the only change that we need to make on this is that we need to be listed as an additional insured body on the insurance. But other than that, he said everything sounded great. And then the other thing too, the $100, the idea was that we put that money aside for Parks and Rec. So that goes back to the Parks Department.
And it would only be one truck per Monday, right?
So they would just be responsible to reach out to me and have a schedule set up. So we just need to vote on that if there's any questions.
Melissa got booked already.
Yeah, Melissa, how many do you have
None.
waiting?
Gotta get the approval before we pass it on.
Fine, I'll make the motion.
I haven't even told anybody.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Where are you thinking of having them put it down by the ball field up
So-
here?
I was thinking there's that section like right at the corner of Railroad in Maine, that's kind of like a little parking spot, like the street seems super wide in one spot. And if you park one truck up to the Gamco lot line, they're out of the street, they're close enough to the ball field that people can see them and access them easily. They're close enough to Main Street that people see that they're there. And I think it would draw an okay crowd, what I called last month the food desert on Mondays, so.
You don't wanna park like across from the parking lot here on the other side of the barn? You can get off the road far enough.
I just don't want, it doesn't matter to me, I just don't want it to be in the way of anybody, I don't obviously want it to be in the way of any, Dallas and any of the fire trucks or anything. They're gonna need about 6 feet behind their, food truck or at one end or the other of their food truck to plug in their generator. So they are gonna need a little bit of space around them, not just their physical truck space, so. I just didn't want them to be right on Main, away from the ball field where they were gonna have to cross the street potentially.
Okay.
I think there's room for discussion.
Yours, right, in location,
Yeah.
can always move it.
Right.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
Anybody got any questions on that? So that's up there.
Melissa buys everybody lunch for the first one.
So all we gotta do is get that changed and advertise it. Okay? Sounds good. Have I forgot anything? Streets, George Arnold said that he could start, he's hoping, weather permitting, he'll be able to start on Toledo Street to fix the mud puddle down there between the car wash and Montgomery. And we got our letter over to Mark Green, I don't know if we got it back, have we?
As of 2 o'clock today, we had.
Okay. I'll call him tomorrow and tell him I need that signed. Yep. Just one little strip. It won't be bad.
That's what they always say.
They'll go 20 mile an hour mowing the grass.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
I don't have anything. Shoot some patch and study mode. Basic everything else. Not used too much.
Did you look into those signs, or we gotta go with the ones?
So comparing the price to what the material that would cost us, because we don't have an old sign that's up to date for the size, it'd probably be just the same price, if not cheaper to get it.
So like $50. So, maybe going back 2-3 months now, we talked about getting 4 signs to put up. 2 by the ball field, 2 by the park, just like children at play, like caution ahead. So we tentatively were looking online and they look to be about $50 for, was it 24 by 24 sign? So we're looking to spend, let's see, then post would be about 20. So we're looking to spend about 220 to, yeah, I mean, so 220, 250 bucks at the most for signs.
We get these posts from the county.
Yeah, I think those are like $5 a piece.
Do we need a motion for that? Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Okay.
Okay, last month we had a total of 20 calls, 17 were medical, 1 grass fire, 1 accident, and 1 PR event. Let's see, 930, the lights are fixed on that, so thank you, looks great. Lights up better than what it did before with the new LEDs, so.
Did we get the light bar on the roof?
Yep. Yep. The bottles that were given to us for our air packs, 7 of them needed to be, recertified. I took them up there, they're past their date, so they cannot be used. It's 15-year from the manufacturing date, and, they are just out of date, so we can't use those. But we ended up getting, what was it, 16 bottles, so 9 of them that were good, so we're setting pretty good. But just to give you a heads up, those 9 will expire in 2028. And then the 10 that we have will expire in 2031. So just a heads up, let you know that.
You got 3 years to start planning.
Right. The generator out at the lagoons. We've been running that, starting it, but it does not wanna stay running by itself now. Something about if you hold the throttle cable or some cable, I'm not sure what it is, but if you sit there and hold it, it'll run. But as soon as you let that go, it just dies out, cuts out, dead. I don't know, if we have somebody that can look at that, or I'm not sure who looked at it before or what, but,
That's a diesel, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, it runs fine, it's just, as long as you hold that, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's a throttle cable or what it is, but.
That's an old manual style generator, isn't it? So it might be the shut off making contact. Is it for the shut off?
Sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the shut off is touching and shutting. One, killed it. It's trying to shut the pump off on it.
And that's what somebody had said on the department, might be like a pickup pump or something? I don't know.
It wouldn't be the pickup pump because it wouldn't start. If the pickup pump, you'd have to find it every time
Oh, okay.
to fire it.
I don't know. But definitely needs looked at, because if we lose power, we're not gonna be able to use it unless I have somebody just stand down there and hold that all, the whole time.
You got paper?
I got Wally's number.
I got duct tape.
Right?
Alright.
I did have somebody come get us fitted for fire gear. I don't have the quote, I, and I'm all last week, I sent a couple emails. He said he'd get it to me, but I have not got it yet. So, we're at the next stage, but not with the price right yet, so.
Sticking with red?
What's that?
Sticking with red.
Actually, we're not. We wanted to stick with red, but it's hard to find.
Well, I
Found
think
out that
two
it's
people are making
harder to find, and they're not making it as much anymore because of the dyes that are in the red,
Those put in their food.
so.
So what color you got?
Like we didn't go with the black because we felt that, even though it's reflective, it'd still be harder to see at night if we're on an accident scene on the roadway or something. So we stayed away with that. So it's kind of like a brownish tan colored,
Paper bag
So-
brown.
so.
Okay,
Easier to see at night, but it's not the red, it's not the black, so.
How many bags? How
Five.
many guys?
Five,
Five?
for the 5 sets. I did, find out that a lot of the guys' boots are getting, like a weather check type of thing, kind of. So I did have them put those in the quote, but I told them that would probably also be something that could be, have to, taken out, because we only budgeted for so much, so. But, we will have to look at that. I think there's like 3 sets that really need to be purchased, so. But we'll see what it comes up with, and then we'll go from there.
I think the last time, so Kyle, we got him new boots, and those were actually relatively cheap, like they were like $200.
Yeah, they average, you can 200 to 500-600.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah. Got a new application, a guy lives here in town, Four Corners. He is certified in both fire and medical. He actually works for RU and, Addison Ambulance. He moved in, like I said, the Four Corners, one of the apartments, I'm not exactly where, but, he's just interested in helping out, if you guys approve the application.
is he gonna quit the other department?
That's his actual job, so probably not.
Oh, that's his job.
That's his job, running the ambulance for RU, and then
No, I mean for the other fire department.
for Addison, that's his job as well.
He's floating back and forth.
Right.
Just would be a floater when he's not working.
Right.
Yeah.
He works for RU as an EMT, and he works for Addison Ambulance for an EMT. So he signs up for shifts on both of them, and, so his spare time, he just wanted to help us out.
Okay, I was just checking.
Yeah.
I would say anytime volunteer is a good volunteer. If they're available at certain times, then they're available.
He's gonna be a firefighter and a responder?
Yeah, he's certified for both, so yeah, he can do fire and EMS.
Probably we need to have him have a physical because he has to have those for the other 2 jobs, he just got a show.
You just have proof of it.
Yeah.
He just showed
Should be able to
proof
get
of his
those.
physical.
I can check, yeah.
I would assume, if he's doing that for RU, they're gonna have all that on file.
I would assume.
Yeah. I mean,
Need a motion to accept this new guy.
I'll support it.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay.
Let me see. Our computer, our laptop that we put all our reports into the state of Michigan, I don't know what we can do or have somebody look at it, but it's running really slow. So I don't know if we can, if someone here can look at it or what, but, cause I'm not very computer.
You talking the one in the office?
No, the one out here where the guys put the reports on and stuff, just to get it going takes almost 40 minutes to get it to start up.
How old is the computer?
Yeah, where we have with that.
I would say
It's probably gonna need replaced.
6
Computers-
years.
Yeah,
Oh, geez.
it probably doesn't even have enough memory, and you can't put memory in computers, laptops as much anymore. They pretty much make it impossible to,
The phone.
yeah, upgrade, so we might have to, I can look at it and see if I can run like defrags and stuff on it, but chances are, it's not gonna help much.
Do you know what operating system it runs, Dallas?
Can you,
Do you know what operating system it runs? What version of Windows? Cause if it's older than
I think
10,
it's
if it's older than
probably-
10, you
If
can't.
it's 6 years old, it's probably-
Yeah, you're gonna have to buy a new computer.
Yeah,
Cause it won't
Yeah.
let it, it
Yeah.
won't let it
the
boot up
chances
fast
are you're gonna
enough.
have to.
Cause there's no way, if it's not running 10 now, there's no way you can upgrade.
I'll look at it, but I can almost guarantee if it's 6 years old, he's gonna need a new computer.
All I know is at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning calls and we gotta wait 30, 40 minutes to get the computer up run to put the medical report in. That's getting really old.
Before the medical call starts.
Huh?
Before the call.
I'll look at it,
start
but I
the
can almost
computer.
guarantee.
when
we'll
you
probably-
look at,
Okay.
when you look to find a new computer?
Yeah, yeah, you should, computers aren't as expensive anymore, laptops, you should be able to find a decent one. No, you should be able to get a decent computer. They're not too expensive.
Let's see, I applied for a grant through State Farm for $10,000 to, help out with some more fire gear and helmets and boots. So I did that last week, so they said it'll close July sometime, it's through State Farm Insurance, so fingers crossed, hopefully that'll help us out, and we can get that help us out, so fingers crossed. The last thing I have, I know we tried to get a fire committee meeting going, I would like to still have that.
Okay.
Anytime after 6 would be, any day after 6, I gotta work at 6, so, whatever works for you guys, whoever.
I think I am, but Elias has games Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. It's baseball season, so they actually canceled the games tonight, or I was gonna be like, very convenient, or yeah, it was nice and convenient. Just have to email and see if that works.
Did you, who's on it with me? Miranda? And, okay. And what did you say?
It's baseball season, so Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. Oh, I said it was Tuesday? Why not?
It can only be on a Tuesday, is that what you're saying?
Next week, yeah, and then unless it was late. Or the following week is,
Following, well, the 11th is next week. Or, sorry, Tuesday, the 10th is next week.
the 17th, the 19th. 17th, 19th, 10th,
Huh?
10th, 17th, 19th.
10th is fine with me, I don't know,
Which
We
one?
can do the 10th.
does that look good, 10th? Cause that's soon.
10? What time?
One at about 6:30 then?
6:30 is perfect.
Okay. Sorry, I'm old school, I don't do it on the computer, it has to be on paper.
That's all I have, thank you.
Okay. Street commissioner, we got anything to report? Anything to report? Other committees, anything? committee, anything to report there? Building and grounds? Sewer committee, sitting there, we're still working on that grant. Ordinance committee, nothing. Personnel committee, board comments.
You have any comment?
No, the ones that we was trying, the ones got played out before. Intersection. Just before Wilbur, on the right hand side across from Jackie and her place or something. I can get you an address. It's after the camper, which camper's still in the way too, we need to address that. I realized that the other day that those both are, they're bringing a hindrance.
For sure. But we actually, so I can send them the notice for right away ordinance
Right.
for the camper.
The door or whatever it is parked there is, the plate's expired. On the road edge.
Okay.
It's about the only two things I've seen in the grass. Get that little corner cleaned up.
Last but not least, public comment, one last time. Melissa?
Said it better for the people back here.
They do?
No,
Don't.
they do not,
They don't, they haven't moved, have they?
no.
We'll send them a letter
Well, at
tomorrow.
least the grass looks better though than seeing all the traffic over there in the backyard.
If we talk about.
I know.
After last month's meeting though, do we talk about doing like the black?
The
Yes,
blackout fence.
that would be nice.
So, I mean, do you have like a rough estimate of how much that would cost to do?
Sorry, what?
A rough estimate of how much it would cost to do that?
I have to do some investigating on that.
Like less than $500 bucks?
I would probably say, just off the top of my head from what we've used it for, because you can get different colors out of it.
What do you think?
I really want to.
Think so?
I would say mostly it's the end down there. I mean, not even if you didn't do the whole thing, but at least like down by where
The goats used to be.
yeah, down that area.
I'd almost so just for,
Yeah.
you know, just do the fence, because that way it's done and it's up.
And I know the scoreboard, they're working on getting, because there will be a scoreboard over there. Working on
They
getting
were
rid of-
looking for a auger to dig the holes.
Yeah,
It's about $15 a foot.
How long is that fence? It's at least, it's over 300 feet.
I don't know if that's in the sector.
I don't know, we should do the whole fence just aesthetically, so it's done, and we don't have to look at that eyesore for Heritage Day or tractor pulls, it's covered, it's done. But it's a cost thing too, definitely, so. I don't know what the panels, how long the panel, what 100-foot
Comes
panels,
in rolls, probably.
what's that?
Probably comes in rolls.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a 100-foot roll or what it is. It's been a while since I've messed with it.
do we have money to say like up to this amount and get it checked out?
We can measure it and then do some of it ourselves. and
Or,
see.
because we probably wanna do it before the next
I was
meeting.
gonna say, what if we start with like 500 and try to do, like you said, just cover one section, and then you'll have a better idea of how much more we need and the cost, and then we can approve the rest. Like, just see what $500 can do, and then if that, if everybody thinks that's okay, but with the goal of doing the whole thing, just,
Start.
yeah. get the rest.
Need a motion.
I'll make, go ahead.
You can
I'll
make
make a
it.
motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Exceed $500, see how far it goes. That'll hide most of the,
The grossness.
we need to send them the grass over.
There's some-
I forgot.
Yeah,
that.
it's such a catch twenty two, because at least then you can't see all the crap. But mosquitoes probably love that area.
John said you have good stuff for us.
I always have good stuff for you. That's the only reason I come. I have a question first. What's the status of the lighted signs at the school? Cause I know I'm gonna get asked next week at the school board meeting.
The child crosswalk signs, is that what you're discussing?
There's power to them, there's just not, there's something, going on inside the box on either side. We got a guy that's gonna take a look at it.
Cool.
On his own time, and so it's not charging us to do it, he's just gonna take a look at it.
Somebody just asked me.
He's got the right tools to do it, so
Thank you.
kinda willing to help us out. So I'm waiting on him.
I do. Appreciate it. Eats is good. There's gonna be a live, remote for the country station that day from 11 to 1. We'll start setting up things about 9 o'clock the morning of the 22nd, so we'll be bustling on Railroad Street, for the
What
rest of the
station?
The Dale, the country station. So there's this funny thing that happens on Sundays, there's baseball games. And we still live in one of those communities that baseball gets played on the radio. So WCSR is playing the Tigers at 12:10, that Sunday, which is an interference to me. And then, it's actually an MIS race later in that afternoon, that'll be playing on the Dale. So 11 to 1 is gonna drive some traffic and hang out for a little while things start heating up, so everybody else is looking good. After the last meeting, Rick and I went over and talked to the gentleman that's living in the house next to that, property along Railroad Street. He was very pleasant to chat with, I was very excited about having something fun to do there, so. Talked to Wally yesterday.
You're in trouble.
He is in trouble because his wife is all for it. We're gonna meet probably the end of July. Miranda's gonna meet with us and she's just gonna get pulled in, about figuring out the Christmas parade situation.
Lighted
The lighted Christmas parade
food trucks.
of not food trucks. I don't think they can roll and eat at the same time. So we'll meet in July around the Christmas parade so that we can get things together so that we're advertising plenty ahead of time. And then I'll just work with Ellie on fixing the contract, so the contract that I sent her for Food Truck Monday was based on all of the homework I had to do for Eastman Street. So it made it very simple to do that, so we'll make sure, and I feel like somewhere it said at one point that we needed to have them as an additional insurance, so I'll just make sure to go back and check that, and then, we'll start getting it advertised, and I think that's all I got.
Platinum sponsor for Eastman Streets.
Independence Heating and Cooling. Or Woodruff and Sons.
I did, talking about the lighted parade, I did talk to the preachers about changing it from Saturday to Sunday. Are they okay with it? And one guy said he wouldn't be able to make it.
From Sunday to Saturday?
Yep. It doesn't have to be Thanksgiving weekend anymore because if Hillsville's not having theirs.
It's nice to do it that weekend, I think, just because people are.
Usually it's the first weekend of December, isn't it? It's the first one.
Hillsdale? Yeah, oh, I have no idea.
Traditionally it is.
But I like that our Christmas tree lighting is the weekend of Thanksgiving, because people are still home, if there's kids home from school or anything, they're around, and,
College kids hasn't called me back, but that's,
well, and maybe the band, we talked about maybe the band doing something, and talking to Mr. Spindleman about that, and, cause there's not a lot of opportunities this year for the band to do community stuff, just because we're not having Heritage Day. I mean, they played the Memorial Parade, but other than at the school, there's not really anything going on, so, at least not yet. I have no other plans, so.
that's it. Any others? I did forget one announcement that I wanted to make. We had about 100 people plus the band at the cemetery for a memorial service. We had 3 veterans. I think there was a fourth one there, but I don't think he was able to get up out of his chair. He gets around kind of rough. So we had a good service.
It was nice.
Very nice. Janice?
Two things. First thing, I tried to come through the alley twice, over here by where the Pizza Hut was, and there's always a car parked in the alley. Now, that's illegal, isn't it? Isn't that alley supposed to be open for everybody?
Yep.
Okay, my second thing is, last week I had the opportunity to listen to two different people about Lifeways. And it really opened my eyes. They both had suicides in their family. And it is a bigger problem in Hillsdale County than we realize. And so I just want you to think about it, because if you can listen to anybody, pay attention. Because Lifeways is needed in Hillsdale County. We have a lot more of that than we realize. When it doesn't affect us, we don't think about it. But when you hear others that have been affected, it really makes you think.
That's it.
Get the golf outing for fire department.
So the fire department is having their first annual golf outing, August 2nd. Just 9 holes in Hudson on the Evergreen Golf Course. So we're looking at getting sponsorships for that, prizes to raffle off.
When was that?
August 2nd, it's a Saturday.
Second Hudson?
How many teams are signed up?
4 right now. So we're looking to do about 18. We just started advertising on Monday. We've got a few other advertisements planned. So anybody wants to?
Who should they get a hold of? Telephone number?
So myself, and I'll have some printed flyers.
Okay.
What was it?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to talk again on the Lifeways. I want everybody to be sure that this proposal for a ballot is not to do anything down on Lifeways. Lifeways will still exist. The only way that Lifeways would have a problem probably is if the government cuts their funding, because I understand that they're 95% Medicaid, but that's a separate issue. We need to look out for our county as well. With a county budget, as Brad said, 14 million? Somewhere between 14 and 16 million is the figure I hear. So for roundabout figures, that's what it costs to run our whole county for a year. And Commissioner Benzening said that Lifeways gets 120 million. They don't really need the county to back them. We need that money and that credit line more, I believe. So again, this petition is just to put it on a ballot, and it won't come about right away, likely not before November, maybe even not this year. You'd have plenty of time to think about how to vote. So just be aware of the whole ball and wax. This is not against Lifeways, but it's looking out for our county.
Okay. Anybody else? Need a motion?
I'll make a motion